Hi there, and welcome to Limitless, the space where your big dreams meet grounded energy and mastering manifestation becomes your new normal. I'm Alyssa Simpson, mindset and manifestation coach, your unorthodox free spirit, and now your newfound permission slip to do life your way. Here, we break the rules by ditching societal norms of the hustle and grind. We embrace flow, alignment, and the bold decision to follow what lights you the fuck up. In each episode, I'll be sharing soul downloads, mindset shifts, energetic upgrades, and raw, authentic stories to help you unlock your magnetism, collapse timelines, and create a life that feels as good as it looks. So if you're ready to remember who you are, trust your desires, embody your highest self, and manifest from your authentic power, it's time to sit back, relax, and get ready to become limitless. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Limitless. Whoa, dude. Holy shit sick. I have so much to tell y'all. I don't even really know where to start, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to back it up just a bit. I'm going to try to gather my thoughts here. As you know, your girl does not take notes to bring to the pod, and I did say that I should start doing that, but here we are, and I didn't. Okay. Okay. Anyways, as I'm entering into this new season of my life, the timing of everything, y'all, when you really truly surrender and get so crystal clear on what it is that you desire and what it is that you are no longer accepting or tolerating in your life, the way that the universe works, its beautiful magic, and the timing of it all is so potent, specific, incredible, beautiful, and sometimes really fucking uncomfortable. And right now, I am in the very uncomfortable phase. I'm on the tail end of it, right? Today is Wednesday. The uncomfortability all started on Thursday of last week, so I'm almost at a week of this uncomfortable thing that's been happening in my life, and I will explain a little bit more here in a moment. But what I need you to hear and understand before we dive into any of this stuff is I really truly believe that not only do I go through things for my own personal development, but because my life's passion and mission and duty on this planet in this lifetime is to transmute my own lived wisdom into others, this isn't just happening for me, it's happening for my work. It's happening for my my what's the word? Legacy. Like it's happening for so many other pieces outside of me. And when I had the opportunity to work today in my work, again, we are redefining what work is. We are in our restful receiving, restfully rich era. And that does not look like typical work. But whenever I sat down today to get a download, if you will, from the universe of like what needs to happen, because I've been so bogged down in like what's going on in my personal life and on my personal journey that I'm like, I don't even know what to even bring to everyone. I don't know what to bring to the world. And then it hit me like so deep in my chest. It was like, obviously what you're going through, you need to be sharing because there's so many lessons in this, right? And that's the thing, y'all. I need you to hear this as well. The universe, it's so weird how sometimes it comes out of my mouth like that. The universe does not test you. It always reflects you. You cannot ask to be a more patient person. You cannot ask for more peace and then not get met with opportunities to stand in that want. You cannot say that you want more money and then be presented with an opportunity to receive more, like, and not follow through with it. The universe always is going to put your money where your mouth is for you because the universe operates on free will. We don't just get handed things on a silver platter. We get handed opportunities to choose and decide better, and then the universe provides, right? It's almost like the action that we take within asking for a desire is exactly what the universe is giving us as like our own green light back to the universe. Because we can talk, our words can be so full and so endless and so meaningless, but it's the action behind what we say, what we desire, right? So Also, before I get into everything, the action piece of manifestation, which the formula is, I will remind you, it's be plus do equals have. So the doing part is the action part, and it is like the least amount of, honestly, like energy that needs to go into the formula, but it does take up 50% of the equation. But it's so warped in our mind of what we think that action needs to be. We think that when we do the things, then we get to have what it is we desire. You have to align with the energy of the version of you who already has everything you desire. And then the action piece becomes very, oh, duh, obvious for you that you don't have to put a whole lot of thought into it. So, what we do as a society is we really think about what we can do in order to have, and that's not the way the formula needs to go. Who do I need to be in order to have, right? So let's get into what's been going on in the world of Alyssa. I am going to speak on this in like what I like to call riddles, because I don't want to give a whole lot of transparency in like very private matters in my life. So I'm gonna, again, do this in a way that protects the privacy of myself and others while also sharing my lessons that I'm learning through all of this, okay? Because here's the fucking meat and the potatoes of everything. What happened with who and when and where and why is fucking irrelevant. It is the feelings that got brought up for me, the mirrors that were reflected back to me, and how I'm choosing to navigate life after these things have happened, okay? So that's my first riddle for you. Every time we talk in the riddle, take a fucking drink, and I will cheers you on the first one. Okay, so let's wind the tape back to last week. No, we're gonna wind the tape back to beginning of December when I decided, because I had this huge intuitive download, right? Of like, Alyssa, you've been asking to receive. You've been wanting to open up the floodgates for receiving for yourself in a different way. You are done doing things the way that you've been doing. You are putting your money where your mouth is by actually starting to show others how to restfully become rich as fuck without algorithms, without the hustle, without the man-made construct that is entrepreneurship through the lens of masculine energy. I'm helping you understand that you can do it in your feminine energy, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and listen to my last episode where I dive even further into this, episode 110 on Limitless. That'll give you a little bit more context on what I'm talking about, but just to save a whole lot of time, I'm not going to get into it again, but just know that like that is what happened at the beginning of December. Okay, got that little download. I'm working through that download. I'm bringing that download to fruition in real time. And in doing so, I'm also being presented with, okay, that's what you want to do. Let's see how you are holding yourself back, Alyssa. I've been holding myself back by, this is just so interesting, um, by being shown how much of my life I have been really trying to cater to other people's comfortability at the sacrifice of my own comfortability and my own peace, okay? And growing up in the home that I grew up in with my mother and my father, I really had to absorb a lot of the emotional turmoil that happened, you know? And when I first started my journey to bettering myself, there's all this talk about like healing your inner child, okay? Like that phrase and that like topic is thrown around so much in the healing space. And I have my own opinions about that, but I will not get into that today. Remind me and we'll get into it another episode. But I never really fully could grasp that concept because I was like, I didn't have an abusive child home. And I always, equated healing childhood trauma with abuse. And that's not true at all, right? So my childhood opportunities to learn from is what I'm calling them, because I'm not going to call them traumas because that's making them more dramatic than it needs to be. And I honestly think that I'm not even going to get into it. That's not the point of this conversation. But what I will say is what I'm learning about a lot of my childhood is I was so much of the absorber of emotional turmoil. And in doing so, it molded me into being the person who kept the peace, who wanted to make sure that everyone was happy and copacetic and doing well and happy and joyful and peaceful at my own expense, right? Like I was an anxious child. So like I had the most like now of course as an adult and as a emotionally intelligent and spiritually intelligent person that I am, I can see so clearly like why I was the way I was as a kid. But it took me a long time to be like, why the fuck was I so anxious and worried? And oh my God, like geez, like what caused it? And it was the absorbing everyone else's emotional turmoil. So that carried on with me into my adult life. And the way that it manifested itself for me was making sure that I did right by others at my own expense. Okay. You can call it people pleasing, you can call it whatever the hell. So, on this journey of becoming a more feminine, receiving being, right? I had to look at my own cause of my misery, right? Like, which was me at the end of the day, my own stuff at the end of the day. And spoiler alert, if you are experiencing turmoil in your life, I really want you to look at your own contribution to it because I'm telling you right now, it's not things aren't happening to you, they're happening because of you and or for you, right? So, learning this about myself in real time and wanting to adjust and fix it, making that declaration, like I no longer want to be that for people. I do not want to be the person who caters to others. I do not want to be the person who, you know, causes my own discomfort for the sake of someone else's comfort. That is abandonment of self in its most plain black and white form. When you do that, you are abandoning yourself. And there's this really hot topic happening in the online space about like the reason that people are so lonely and miserable is because they aren't just doing for others the way that our lineage of generations have done for others. And I can agree to that to a certain extent. Like I definitely think that a lot of people use like I'm having a bad mental health day or like I was triggered by you. They use that as an excuse to like not follow through with things. There's a really healthy balance of doing things that you necessarily don't want to do and then doing it on the total opposite side of doing it at your own fucking sanity's expense, okay? If it's going to cause you anxiety and overwhelm and all the things, like number one, ask yourself why, because sometimes those anxieties and those overwhelms are being caused because something that really is not necessarily the actual thing that's happening, like if for an example, I used to be like very, very much so like I am the only one who's going to drive the car if we're going anywhere. Like I did not feel comfortable being a passenger in anyone's vehicle, and that boy like it would give me anxiety knowing that I didn't have the opportunity to drive a vehicle that I was going to have to be in. And instead of not getting in the car with others, I had to really ask myself like where is this anxiety coming from? And guess what? It came down to a control issue. And I had to really work on like what does control look like for me? What is control actually like? What are things that I truly can control in this life? Because even if I am driving the car, I have no control over the vehicle itself, over other people on the road, Mother Nature, the integrity of the road that I'm driving on, like my seatbelt. Like there's so many things that are just out of my control, right? But I have control over how I feel and how I respond and how I choose to react to things. So do you. Those are the only things that we are in control over, okay? Now, having uncovered this about myself, my declaration was to no longer allow it in my life. And guess what? I had three, not one, not two, three other instances where I got presented with an opportunity to put my money where my mouth is in the form of relationships, in the form of other people, in the form of the universe directly mirroring back to me how I was causing my own suffering in my own life, right? How was I accommodating others at the sacrifice of my own well-being? Okay? And there was three other instances that happened from so four in total in less than a week span. Four different instances, and honestly, like now that I'm on the tail, even when I was like in the thick of it, I kept telling myself like I am so grateful that this is all happening all at once rather than dragging out over the course of like months. You know what I mean? Like let's get all this shit out on the table now. Universe, please present me with every opportunity where I have been self-sabotaging myself in the namesake of doing good by others so that I can no longer do this, so that this can be the last moment of my life right now where we are doing this. You have got to shed the things that no longer serve you in order to move forward. You have got to release all of the invisible chains that are tying you down, whether that's in the work that you do, the relationships you have, your own self belief system, like whatever, like literally, it can be an infinite amount of things. But you have got to shed those things in order to become the version of you who simply doesn't have those things, right? How many times have you said to yourself, like, oh my God, I wish I didn't allow XYZ, or oh my God, I wish this person treated me like XYZ, or whatever? Put your money where your mouth is, right? If you truly, honestly desire that, the universe is going to give you opportunities to do so. And what I also know to be true in this season of my life that I'm in, I mentioned the uncomfortability, it is there. I have cried more in this week than I did the last time I cried this much was the week that I gave birth. I was an emotional, hot fucking mess, dude. I cried at the drop of a hat. They came in to like do an audio like hearing sound on my son when he was like hours old to make sure that he, his ears were okay. And I was crying because he looked so cute with these giant like headphones on his face. I was like, "Oh my God, he's so cute. I love him so much." And it's like I have not cried that much as like since then, right? And that was 9 months ago. And here we are, and I have been in the emotional depths of it all. And during this whole process and the uncomfortability, it's also asking myself, like, what is making me so uncomfortable in all of this? And of course, none of us like conflict. I mean, there's a very select few people in the world, like a percentage of people who do thrive in conflict. I personally am not one of those people. It makes me very uncomfortable. And it's because of my old conditioning of walking the tightrope of other people's comfortability and feelings and well-being despite my own, right? So that's where the uncomfortability comes from. And I had two different moments in these four instances where I had to ask myself, like, am I going to save face so that I don't feel this uncomfortability? Or am I going to face my uncomfortability head on and do what I need to do, say what I need to say, act how I need to act in order to move through all of this? So I was presented with a choice within myself, and I chose the uncomfortable route because I knew in my heart if I didn't choose that route, all of this shit would keep continuing and go on until infinity and beyond, my friend. And I am not with it. Like, I know that the version of me who is more in her feminine energy, who is more in the receiving era, who is more effortlessly becoming restfully rich, that version of me does not exist, right? Like, the version of me who has all that isn't me in Wednesday of last week's body. You know what I mean? She has a different energy about her. She carries herself differently. She thinks differently. She acts differently. She has different boundaries. She respects herself a little bit differently. All these things. And it's really cool too because the journey of self evolvement that we get to go through while we're in our human form is so fucking cool at the end of the day. Who I was a month ago is not who I am today. Who I was a year ago is not who I am today. And I guarantee you by the end of 2026, the version of me will be vastly different than the version of me right now. And it's cool. And we're meant to change. Okay. So if people throw it in your face like you have changed, good. Number one, we're supposed to. Like, we are supposed to evolve and become better and different. And people like to say that as like it's a bad thing, like unless I have some crazy ideology and I'm like negative and evil and like wish harm on others, like my change is good, okay? And if my change bothers you, it's because you have been feeding off of me in the version of me who simply was self-abandoning myself, right? And that's true for you as well. If you're listening to this, please hear what I am saying. All of this, again, the timing is true in that I have a very strong feeling that if you're listening to this, this is probably hitting a few nails on the head for you. And I'm so glad, right? Like, I'm so glad that I can be that for you. Another thing that I know to be true and well within the season that I am in, and with any kind of season that you are going through change, when you are being met with uncomfortable stuff, when you are shedding old versions of you, when you are stepping into the version of you who truly does have it all, it is going to be feeling like shit is hitting the fan. And there were a few times that I had to reach out to people close to me and ask, like, am I going crazy? Please tell me if this is not like reality and there's like something that I'm making up in my head, or like my current, like, what, like, whatever. Like, I need someone to be brutally honest with me and tell me, like, what the fuck is going on. And of course, it's not me dramatizing anything. It is like the truth of the matter is you feel fucking nuts when it all happens at once. Again, I am showing so much gratitude for this because I would much rather have it be this way than drawn out over a extended period of time that I simply don't have the time for. Like and the biggest thing too that I have felt through all of this, and I'm going to walk you through this as well, is the guilt for two different reasons. One of them being guilty about myself. Like, I can't believe that I've allowed this. Like, how, like, I'm so, like, how could I have done that to myself? Right? That's the first guilt. And I'm going to walk you through how we overcome that. The second piece of guilt is oh my gosh, like these days that I've been having to navigate all of this, I'm doing it with my child on my hip, right? Like, and children are so intuitive, and the reason that they are more intuitive than adults is because society has beat it out of us, but children haven't had that opportunity to have it beaten out of them yet. So they are so in tune and so intuitive, and they truly do absorb the energy around them. And my son slept for 14 hours last night. And it's because yesterday was like the hardest day of the whole week, right? And I know for a fact it's because of him absorbing all of the shit that I'm navigating. So there's guilt around that because it's like, oh my God, I'm negatively affecting him. But here's how we shift out of those two things, because both of those two things are not true. I shouldn't feel guilty about my own role in it all. Like, if anything, it needs to be shown so much gratitude because it's like, oh my gosh, now I see, now I know, and I know that this will not happen again, right? And that's something that we do as humans, is like, if something negative happens, we're like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I allowed that. Blah, blah. Like, shut up, move on. Let's get off of that fucking train, okay? Feeling like a victim in your own suffering, baby, that is lesson 101 that we got to kick off the fucking train. We are not allowed to do that. That literally does nothing positive for you. You're allowed to feel that way for 5 minutes, and you got to keep it moving, right? We have empires to build. We have dreams to bring to fruition. We don't get to stay in that lack ass stagnant energy. Okay. We just don't. So when you feel how I'm going to navigate you through this through the lens of myself. So when I felt that, I immediately had to go, whoa, yikes. I shouldn't feel guilty for this. Like, if anything, I'm so happy that this is happening now. I'm so happy that I'm getting to navigate this now because I'm going to be a better version of myself, which is a plus for me, for my husband, for my son, for my business, for my clients, for everyone around me is going to benefit from me becoming better, for me becoming stronger, for me evolving into this new person I am, except for the people who benefited from me self-sabotaging, but that's none of my business. That's not for me to worry about. That's on them, okay? And the gratitude that I am showing past me and current me is coming from future me. Does that make sense? So I am channeling my highest self, my most evolved, embodied, purest form version of me. And I'm like, how would she speak to current me and past me? She is like, I am so proud of you. You finally got the piece to click that you've been needed to click. I'm so sorry it's hard. I'm so sorry it's uncomfortable. But guess what? We don't have to do this again. It is a fucking puzzle piece that we could not find. We found it. We knew exactly where it needed to go. And we don't, guess what? It stays there forever. Okay? It stays there forever. A lot of times, our subconscious mind and our nervous system will try to trick us and make us think that if this happened once, it's going to happen again. And that's not true. That's simply not true. Just like if you get out of a really toxic relationship and you have like this trauma around toxic relationships and your new relationships, your subconscious mind is trying to keep you safe by saying it's going to happen again because we saw it happen in real time. We already overcame it, and holy shit, it's going to happen again. The reason it won't is because you're a different version of yourself. You have a different lived wisdom about yourself. You have a different respect for yourself and authority about yourself and a newfound love for yourself that you didn't have as the version of you who dealt with the shit, the trauma, the abuse, the whatever, okay? You get to move forward in a way where you have a newfound view. And you are not allowed to use that view as a, God, I was such a piece of shit a week ago, a day ago, an hour ago. I can't believe I allowed that for X amount of years. No. Full no. You get to say, wow, that really sucked and I was so uncomfortable, but damn, how great is it that I have the self-awareness? You know how annoying it is to have conversations with people, to communicate with people, to have disagreements with people who have zero fucking self-awareness? Do you know how much better of a version you are now because you have the self-awareness, not only for yourself, but for others? It's going to be a lot easier to resolve any type of conflict, disagreement, uncomfortable situation because you can reflect on yourself in real time and go, what am I contributing to this that may be negative? That is emotional intelligence 101. The ability to, in the middle of all of the chaos, to pause and ask yourself, what did you contribute to this negativity? Okay. Sometimes it's like it is for my instance, because the things that are happening do feel very much like if I wasn't as evolved and emotionally intelligent as I am, I could very much feel like I am the reason for a lot of this. But simply me drawing a boundary and a line and deciding different for myself is what's causing the negativity and the backlash and the disagreements and the arguments. Like that's at the root of it, right? And this isn't some like trying to deflect my own role in things. Like I'm taking full responsibility for it all. But the for it all is simply me just having really loose standards and respect and boundaries for my own well-being, right? And that looks like me doing life a certain way for others that wasn't working for me and choosing to not do that anymore, okay? Doesn't always need to be that you did or said or was something wrong. It's just, what did you contribute to this? Because it's not, rarely ever are we at complete and total, um, the opposite word of fault. Like it's not my fault, whatever that word is. Rarely ever have we contributed nothing to the situation, okay? Rarely ever. Um, and I think though, and I'm trying to think of like an instance where we wouldn't, and the only thing I can really think of is like, and this is a very, it's a topic that I have lived wisdom and experience on is, losing both of my parents within 6 months of each other. That did not, like, I had no role in them dying. But I did have every opportunity to control how I navigated my own grief. And if I would have taken the opposite road of what I did, which was I used their death as to light a fire under my ass to realize like how I was not going to live my life and how I was going to really start actually living for a living and really create the most beautiful vision board life for myself. Which we are 7 years in the making since they've passed. And I can honestly tell you that it's only been in the very recent past that I can actually see the vision board popping off into like my true reality. Because for a lot of years I was drinking every day, literally every day. Like yo girl could drink, I drank 12 beers a night every night for many years in a row. And I would do everything in the name of getting healthy except stopping fucking alcohol. And when I did, guess what? I became healthier. I got prettier. I lost so many things in my life that I just needed to lose in order to become better, to have better, to do better, all the things. So, yeah, I did not contribute to the passing of my parents, but how I decided to navigate life after that event, those two events, that was my choice, right? So, I did play a role in the aftermath of it, but I didn't play a role in the actual event. Does that make sense? And we can apply that to literally anything. The second piece of the guilt that came here was, how I'm transmuting this energy onto my son. And what I want you to hear me say right now, if you're a parent listening to this and you were like, "Oh my God, I have the mom guilt, I have the dad guilt, I have the guardianship guilt or what the fuck ever." People who actually do bad by their children don't feel guilt. Number 1, okay? Having the awareness to even have that be a response in your body and in your mind already should tell you that you are doing a hell of a lot better job than recent generations. Okay. People notoriously say children are resilient. Resilient in the sense that this isn't going to kill them, right? Absorbing negative energy won't kill them. Their subconscious mind is clocking everything that's happening from the ages of 0 to 7, everything that's happening, the energy they feel on you, the conversations you have, like it's all getting stored in their subconscious mind. Even if you're like, they won't remember this, they're only 9 months old, they fucking will in some way, shape, or form. That's not a reason for you to feel guilty. It's a way for you to be proud of yourself for how you handle the situation, right? And if you have a situation where you're like feeling guilty, like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that, I should have handled it better, you will get presented with an opportunity to do so. Because we can't reverse the past, we can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, but we do get to change how we navigate things moving forward. Do I feel like I could have handled being an emotional being with my son with me? No. But I did get to model him what healthy emotions look like, right? I didn't stay in the emotional shit all day, right? Like I did what I had to do. I would go and like calm myself down so that I could, you know, be present with him and not necessarily like hiding my feelings, but just essentially putting them on pause for the sake of his own well-being. Um, will I do a better job next time I get presented with that? Of course I will. I'm choosing not to have regret over how I handled anything, but I definitely, and I also don't believe in like sheltering him from emotions, because how is he going to learn how to have a strong emotional intelligence if he never gets it seen like modeled to him, even as a 9-month old, right? Like that's kind of the big picture in all of this. And even much so is, you know, a really common thing that happens in our society is people will blow up, say outlandish fucking things, and then try to resolve it by saying, "Well, I was really upset and that's why I reacted that way." If you are an adult, right? I'm even going to say if you are 25 or older, under the age of 25, your brain is still developing and there are actual neurological things going on that maybe are hindering you from being where someone else who's like 28 or 29 might be. But if you are over the age of 25, you don't get to use that excuse. You don't, because it's not an excuse. You are trying to say, like, I am the way that I am, and you're going to have to deal with it. Having high emotional intelligence means that you are able to understand that you are responsible for your own outbursts. And you shouldn't be having any if you're an adult. Like, let's be so fucking for real. Adults should not be having outbursts. If you are in a position where you can't control your emotions, which you have full fucking control over, if you have the feeling, well, they made me mad, they made me angry, they made me pissed off, you cannot feel inferior without, no, what is the saying? You cannot, yeah, you cannot feel inferior without your own consent, is the saying. Jesus Christ, it took way too long to get out. But you can't feel a feeling without your own consent to feel something, right? So let's say like I had an emotional week, right? But I'm not saying that I was emotional because of anyone. Like I allowed myself to be emotional and to cry and to feel overwhelmed and feel stressed out and feel uncomfortable and feel anxious, but I didn't use that as a reason to outburst or freak out or whatever, right? There are endless tools in order to regulate yourself before you even get to that point. And you owe it to yourself to where if you're in a conversation or a discussion or a disagreement and you simply cannot regulate yourself because you know, like, I'm going to freak the fuck out, you need to work on that. You need to figure out who to call, what resources that you have available to you, because that's not a healthy, normal response. Um, I have learned over the years that whenever I have discussions with people and I can tell that they are getting a little bit more negatively emotions, like the anger's coming out, the shame is coming out, the whatever the fuck, right? I always like to offer the opportunity to like, hey, if you need to pause this conversation, we 100% can. I'm not going to force you to have a conversation that you don't feel regulated enough to have. And when I say this, I always follow it up with, but I'm also asking that you make it a priority to regulate yourself so we can continue this conversation. And then you let the other person kind of do what they need to do, because you have to respect, you don't have to do anything, let's be so for real. You're gonna see a better response and a better outcome if you allow that person to just get their own bearing, right? And if it takes them a few minutes, if it takes them a few hours, whatever the case is, you owe it to them to at least do that, right? Or you're going to experience someone who can't control their own shit, which again doesn't fall on you 100% it doesn't. But giving yourself the opportunity to say like, I'm allowing you to take the time that you need to have the conversation you need to have, right? Because we're not going to sweep this under the rug. That's not healthy. We're not going to pretend that your outbursts aren't going to happen. Like, that's not healthy either. Advocating for ways that you want to deal with conflict, that's your fucking right as a human being. And I want to encourage you to do so 100%. And just know that when you have these moments of like, holy shit, it's all happening at once. Why is it all happening at once? Oh my God. Just know the up level that's coming for you is going to be so worth every ounce and every moment of, I don't know if I can take another fucking thing. Because you can, you will, and the other side of this is going to go, oh, that's literally all I had to go through in order to have this. I would have done this months ago, years ago, decades ago, whatever. So stick through it, stick with it. We are in a very pivotal moment as a consciousness. Like, there's a lot of things happening in the cosmos. There's a lot of things happening in numerology. There's a lot of things happening in human design and with gene keys. I'm not going to get into each one of those things, but if you are interested of like, why is all this seeming to come all at once? Maybe you're in the same boat that I am. There's a reason for it. Like, we are in a very massive up level, which is a beautiful thing. But anytime we up level, it's not going to be super comfortable. We're going to be faced with a lot of mirrors and a lot of like, what can I do and how can I become better in order to navigate this easier for myself, number one. And number two, it's going to be worth it. I promise you that. And I am, like I told you, when I brought this podcast back, I told you I'm dedicated to showing you how fucking great life gets to be when you decide that you are A, no longer readily available for the bullshit, and number two, you take radical responsibility for your own hand and your own reality, and number three, you decide to truly honor your feminine energy and lean back into the flow, the ease, the receiving era that you so desperately desire to be in. I'm leading the way for you and I'm showing you that, hey, in real time, it gets uncomfortable and it's going to be very uneasy. You can get through it. And I'm telling you also right now, you can get through it with the help of myself specifically, because I go through this with every client I work with. Every time they come to me and decide to become more masterful at their manifestations, more masterful of their mindset, more able to attract money easily. We always go through the period in the beginning where they are shit is hitting the fan. Shit is hitting the fan. They are uncomfortable. They're like, I don't know if this is worth it. And I have to gently guide them through the process. And when you have someone by your side, when you have me by your side, gently guiding you through the process, it gets to be so much easier on you. It gets to be less overwhelming and less emotional. And you get to see in real time why things are happening the way they're happening. Okay. You're not just left to your own devices, right? You're not having to consult with Chat GPT of like, why is this happening? Because let me tell you one thing, Chat GPT is an algorithm. And if you're using it for therapy or coaching, you are going to get fed exactly what you want to hear rather than what you need to hear. Okay. Okay. So, with that being said, Restfully Rich is only getting richer. Let me tell you, the container that I've created, Restfully Rich, all of this is happening for that container. I know it is because of what I'm deciding this container to be. It's going to be such an intimate, feminine embodiment experience that is going to be happening through me, by me, through the universe, by the universe, channeled into everyone that's inside, because that is how we get to do things moving forward. We're not doing master classes, we're not doing fucking courses, we're not doing workbooks. No, we are doing coaching so very different in Restfully Rich, because if you truly want to be restfully rich and receive riches restfully, we got to do it a different way. You don't need a new fucking strategy painted in a different color. You don't need a new course with a different person speaking the same shit. You need it done completely differently. And that is what Restfully Rich is. It's going to get uncomfortable. You're going to be faced with a lot of mirrors that maybe you aren't ready to be faced with. And I'm telling you right now, it's fucking worth it to go through. And I am truly living the actual experience for you to show you. So we are in the uncomfortable phase of Restfully Rich. And it's only about to get so much fucking better, dude. And I'm so excited. So, please, 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 please inquire about Restfully Rich if you are ready to start doing things the way that actually make sense for you and are actually going to stick, and not just be something that lights a fire under your ass for a few weeks, a few months, and then it fizzles out and you're back at square one again. We are done doing things that way. We are done building legacy that way. We are done creating abundance in that way, right? We're here for the long game. We are here to create sustainability with our wealth and our riches, and we're doing it in a restful fucking way. Period. Okay? Also, mailbox money is alive and well to this today. What's today? What did I say? Today's Wednesday. Gotta remind myself. Mom brain. This week alone, we have already received $375 personally for mailbox money. So if you're interested in joining an opportunity where you actually get to be part of a system and an opportunity, right, where you get to receive checks in your mailbox daily, weekly, monthly. That is what mailbox money is. You're plugging into an already tried and true system. You don't have to build shit from the ground up. You're not having to launch a new business plan. You are literally plugging into a system that allows you to restfully receive without all the bullshit. And it is a guaranteed source of income. Hear me when I say that, guaranteed source of income. Obviously, the results vary on the inside, but you have anywhere to earn up to $20,000 a day, even more than that. There is literally no fucking cap on what you can receive inside of this opportunity, but your own energy of what you decide it's going to be for you. And this is so important for you to hear when I say this is the reason I tell people that they have an opportunity to earn up to an extra $2,000 or $20,000 a month is because it honestly depends on your relationship with money. You're still going to receive inside of mailbox money, but the people who are receiving more, it's because A, their relationship with money is different, and B, their relationship with their self is different, right? It's more potent, it's more high caliber, it is more abundant and understanding. And that is why there's people inside of mailbox money who are out receiving others because of their true authentic energy behind it. And luckily, for everyone who joins Mailbox Money, they get lifetime access to my membership where I host monthly trainings on mindset, manifestation, money, wealth, receiving, all of the things that really make you successful with receiving effortlessly. You get it for lifetime for free when you join Mailbox Money. So the application is in the show notes below for you to see. If it's interested, I will come and chat details with you. If you're ready to join Restfully Rich, we are starting. I do not have a start date for you, but I am accepting people inside of it now. It is going to be capped at 10 people, and there is a process of me making sure that you are the right fit for it. So please do not waste my time and come check this out. If you're even a little bit on the fence, I need a full body fuck yes to be in your Restfully Rich era, or I don't need you inside this container, respectfully. Okay? Only potent energy, baby. I will catch you on the next episode. Don't know when it's going to be, but I guarantee you I'm going to have a new intuitive download lesson to share with you, and you know where to find me in the meantime. Bye! I'm so grateful that you tuned in today. If this episode activated something in you, share it with a bestie who's also ready to become limitless. And don't forget to leave a review to help more people find this space. Wanting more? Get on my email list and subscribe to my YouTube channel for exclusive downloads, mindset shifts, and behind the scenes magic that I only share there. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, keep trusting the pull, honoring your energy, and manifesting your most abundant life.